So I'm doing my project on strategic planning to increase revenue and retention through improving and building athletic facilities at Bluefield State College. Turn the camera a little bit, sorry about that. Okay, so problem and opportunity. We want to talk about what is the problem currently. Currently, we have expanded 12 sports or created 12 new sports, and we are also expanding current rosters. So a lot of new athletes and a lot of opportunity to add athletes, a lot of new athletic programs, and a lot of opportunity to expand current athletic programs already. So the opportunity is there for athletic facility renovation and development of athletic training facilities, baseball facilities, softball facilities, multi-purpose facilities. So the problem is that we don't have the facilities currently to house all of these student athletes. We're adding the sports, but we don't have the necessary facilities to house these student athletes and give them the best overall student experience. Priorities. One of my sponsors, Athletic Director Derek Price, said our main priorities right now as far as facility renovation and development were baseball and softball, athletic training facilities, and then on top of that, locker rooms. When we talk about funding, okay, through the COVID CARES Act, we were able to obtain $8 million. Now, the stipulations in the COVID CARES Act do not allow for capital projects for athletics, so we can't use that money. Now, we can use that money for student experience, dorms, things of that nature, so it's correlated, but we can't use that money directly. The plan is to use our tuition-generated revenue. We're expecting 400 roughly new student athletes this fall, and we plan to use that revenue plus donors to be able to pay for and obtain or finish successfully finish these projects. Phase one is going to be athletic training and locker rooms. Athletic training is so very important. Lowers secondary insurance costs by keeping our athletes healthy. It lowers our athletes' insurance costs and deductibles because they have to provide primary health insurance. Locker rooms allow for us to, again, student experience, expanded rosters. We have more room to grow bigger rosters. If we have a 30-man basketball team, but we only have 15 lockers, the student experience isn't there, and we're not going to retain those athletes. I touched on this already, but again, athletic training costs are so high. We've got to be able to lower those athletic training costs, secondary insurance, by making sure our athletes are getting proper treatment, rehab, whatever it may be, to be able to keep them healthy. We keep them healthy, we lower secondary insurance. So secondary insurance is going to pick up, our premiums are going to be high, but we'll be able to lower them if we can lower the amount of injuries we have. So primary insurance for a student athlete is going to be picked up when there's an injury or surgery, whatever their insurance doesn't cover, our secondary covers. So our costs go up as athletes get hurt. So athletic training facilities are crucial, as well as locker rooms. We're looking roughly around $150,000, prefab, steel metal building, concrete, utilities. But again, in the long term, with 23 sports teams this fall, we don't have enough data to be able to tell what exactly it would save us. But currently, we only have 2 full-time athletic trainers. We're moving to 4 plus some graduate assistants. But the extra space would allow for more efficient rehab, more treatment pre and post game. And I think the investment is there, because studies show that the more athletic trainers we have, the more space we have, the more resources we have, the lower costs are, especially for secondary insurance. Locker room renovations, we're looking at around $20,000. Again, student experience is everything there. Phase 2 would be baseball, softball, turf facility. This would allow us to expand our roster. Softball previously has only carried about 15. Baseball is only carried around 20-25. Softball is now going to carry around 30. Baseball is going to carry around 60. So the bigger facility allows for more practice time. It allows not only just multi-use for other teams, but allows for our baseball and softball teams to carry more rosters, which allows for more revenue because we have more paying student athletes. This also allows for band, lacrosse. We could have lacrosse fields. That's in the plans. To be able to have lacrosse lines, we could have a lacrosse game field. Lacrosse is played in the fall, not the spring. So between lacrosse, marching band, because we don't own our own football facility, we do have lights where the baseball and softball turf fields will go. This would allow for us about 100 student athletes, and that would obviously be increased revenue. Currently, our enrollment is down over 200 students. So just in our plan right here, we would be generating about $1 million extra of revenue per year with 100 new student athletes at these facilities, which is the main priority. The facilities allow for increased enrollment. The facilities allow for a better student experience. The facilities allow for more revenue. Obviously, our enrollment's down. Higher education is changing. And the Department of Education shows that right now we're around $9,300 average out-of-pocket cost. So you do 100 new student athletes by increasing these facilities, we're at roughly $1 million increased revenue. And these athletic facilities, they give us something that we really can't measure, and that's the student experience. In conclusion, facilities are definitely needed, both in opinion, but more importantly, as Dr. Pro always says, justifiable through data. The data shows that roughly a $4.5 million investment would generate $1 million per year that we can measure right now. Athletic training, lowering athletic training fees, we could roughly be looking at about a $2 million investment or return on our investment per year, which would cost roughly, we would get that back in 4 years based off the revenue we would generate from the new student athletes from our facility. So in conclusion, athletic facilities needed. Student experience is important. Expansion is costly, so there are concerns there. But based on the data and the number of athletes we could create, student athletes roster spots we could create, and you'll see in my paper, Center College in Kentucky had a really good plan for this as well. And a good example of how they increase facilities, and they're adding enrollment through roster numbers, but the facilities are the engine for that project. Is it worth it? Absolutely, as I stated. And one thing, again, Dr. Pro is really helping me to understand is that data-based research is where we want to stay and stay away from opinion-based. Thank you.